Oh boy, hi.
Hi.
Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where the tea is piping hot and we're always ready to spill. I'm Logan Murphy, just a gay, here today with just water, because hydration is important.
Oh, yeah. I am Lana, your resident diva. You know, the one who loves to get the tea, drink the tea, spill the tea, and all of that. And I had water, but like 30 seconds right as we started the intro, I changed locations and I left my water in the room. So there we go.
I was like, Lana's on the move. The intro video was playing. What's happening? I'm like, location change. Oh no. Oh Lord.
I
Okay,
decided
great.
to change locations, and I'm still going to do that because I don't like the lighting where it was. All right.
Fair enough. Well, we are here. It is the last qualifying week of not that. Are we good? Oh goodness. That's how today is going for us, y'all. That's how today is going.
It is.
But we are here with week 5 of the American Song Contest. The final qualifying week.
Why don't you talk about that qualifying heat, Logan? Well, I go get my notes that I left in the other room doing the location change.
Sure, I could do that. Yeah, absolutely. So it's obviously week 5, but before we do that, we got to dive into week 4 again because we have the results of the qualifications from week 4. As we knew, Washington was the jury qualifier, so they automatically made it through to the semifinals. And we found out that the other 3 artists that will be competing in the semifinal out of week 4 are Jared Lee from Massachusetts, Stella Cole from Georgia, and Mari from New Hampshire. Now, this was kind of the craziest qualification session that we've had because up until now, we had not had anyone beyond 6th in the jury ranking end up qualifying. We had it in week 3. Riker Lynch placed 6th with the juries, but ended up 2nd overall in his week. And then we see Stella Cole placing 6th with the jury, but qualifying, as well as Mari from New Hampshire qualifying, being 8th in the jury selection. I will say this is not who I expected, but I'm very happy with it.
Yes, I am happy for Stella. I didn't expect it. I didn't think that, not Stella, Mari. Yeah. I didn't think Mari was going to do it, but obviously Mari made an impact on America because that's the only way Mari won. Mari had to have won the overall public vote.
Absolutely.
Because that's incredible to come from 8th in the jury to being now in the top 4. Like, good for you, Mari. Like I said last week, didn't hate the song. Didn't hate anything about anybody's song last week. I liked everybody's song for one reason or another. It wasn't a hate, I don't like this song kind of thing. But good for Mari.
Yeah.
I didn't even think Stella was going to get there, honestly, but this was just like the public wanted what the public wanted, and they liked what they liked, and we got what we got, and I'm not mad at them at all. I'm not mad at this 4. I'm not mad at this 4 at all.
Not in the slightest. Like, and obviously, like I'm biased. I wanted Las Marias to qualify. I knew it was going to be a really, really. I mean, it could have happened. Seeing as how Mari came from 8th, like it very well could have happened. But you know, I kind of wish they had qualified. They didn't. It is what it is.
Keep streaming their stuff.
Yep. Absolutely, because
keep streaming. Because
there's still a qualifying or a wild card spot. There's only one left though, because we're just going to talk about it now. We're going to get out of the way. On Monday on the Kelly Clarkson show, they announced the first wild card competitor based on I think they said in the episode like over 750,000 streams worldwide. New Boot Goofin made to the semifinals. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm genuinely disappointed. Anyway.
I don't even understand what America is thinking and who is listening to the song.
It's because it went viral on TikTok. That's why. That's literally the only reason why.
Why? Because it's such a horrible song.
They made like a dance to it. There's like a whole dance to it. Like they really capitalized the TikTok market, which like honestly, more power to them. I just really hope it doesn't make it to the final because it would be a shame because there's a lot of good music in the final.
If it does, it's really sad and disgusting, but whatever. All right, let's talk about it.
Go stream your favorite artists. There is still one more wildcard spot. Pretty sure we know where it's going to go based on streams, but go stream your favorite artists. So maybe something will happen. We're going to hope for the best. So we've got the final 11 songs to talk about from the American Song Contest. And then maybe we can do our top 56 video. Ooh, that'll be hopefully coming soon. Because I want to put New Boot Goof in 56.
Yes, so, I definitely want to put him in 56.
I don't know where a lot of people are going to fall otherwise.
I know where he's falling. That's falling at number 56.
Yes. Okay.
Everybody else is up for grabs.
Yep. Pretty much. So as always, we're going to go in running order. So first up is Illinois. We have Justin Jesso with the song Lifeline. Now, in his intro package, Lana, he talked about how his great-grandpa was super involved in music in Chicago, playing for all of the mob bosses. And there was like a whole like mob boss segment. And I was like, that's kind of cool. He shares a photo that he drew of himself at 5 years old, where he said he wanted to perform on a stage, which I thought was really, really cute. And he describes his style of music as like soulful stadium pop, which is definitely what I got from this song. I really like it. I think it was a good song. My biggest issue, because I listened to the studio versions first and then watched the performances, so I had a little bit of like an understanding of the songs themselves. My biggest issue with Justin's performance, honestly, was just that he didn't have as much projection with his voice as what I would have liked him to have for this kind of song. The studio version sounds a lot better, obviously, because it's tweaked ever so slightly. But I thought overall, like, it was a really, really solid performance. He hit that lead up high note. He hit that high note. I was incredibly impressed with that. The rasp through all of that too, I thought was really, really cool. The ad-libbing at the end was also a really nice touch for me. Overall, I thought it was an incredibly solid performance.
Yeah, I like the song. I did. I liked Justin Jesso, and I'm not just saying this because he's in Illinois, and I am born and raised in Illinois, and so. But he did a really good job. It's a good song. I actually like the song. Like,
me too.
Just listening, because I watched performances first, and then I listened to the studio versions of these songs.
Love it.
So I like to like listen to the lyrics when I listen to the studio version, because when I watch the performance, I really just want to focus on the performance aspect of it all. So I actually listen to the lyrics, and I like the lyrics of this song. I like the song. It's a solid, well put together song. I like his voice. I think he has a really good voice, and the like I said, the rasp in his voice, and the he can be graspy, he can be growly, he can run, he can ad-lib, he can, like, I think his performance was killer, because like he showed just how freaking talented he is. He gave us everything. He gave us a performance. I love the staging. I liked how his band was all in different places.
I loved it.
And he was, he showed us that he can play the piano. He even played it with his foot at one point. It was kind of like, all right, I see you showboating up here. It was like he gave us a little bit of everything to show his all-around talent. And that's what I love. Like, he showed us who he is as a artist, who he is as an entertainer, and who he is as a songwriter. Like, all of that was included in this performance. And I enjoyed it. I liked the song. I liked Justin Jesso. He looks good. Like the name Justin Jesso. Like, come on.
Sure,
if that's his birth name, like he was born to be on the stage. Like, I don't know. It's just a good name, Justin Jesso. But
I believe so because I'm looking on like the songwriter credits. And they normally list like full names if they go by like a stage name.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll talk about LeAnn later, but like her middle name is LeAnn, but like her stage name is LeAnn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume based on the songwriting credits that his name is Justin Jesso. And if that's the case, I love it.
It's a great name. It's a great name.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I really did enjoy this one. I think he did a really solid performance. Like he gave us what needed to be given in this performance. He showed us who he was as a entertainer. He showed us who he was as an artist and how he's a musician. And so he did all of that. And so I enjoyed it. And I like the song. I would not be mad to see Justin Jesso move on to the next round because I think it was a solid song. I enjoyed it. I will listen to it again. It was on one of those, it was on my list of I will listen to this song again.
Absolutely, yeah. And this semifinal specifically was very cut and dry as far as like the songs I would listen to again, the songs I wouldn't. And it's a higher margin than past heats that we've had. Mm-hmm. But yeah, incredibly solid. I agree with you. I wouldn't be mad. This isn't like up there like my top 3 or whatever, but I would be very happy to see this qualify.
Right.
So well, we move from one good performance to, in my opinion, another great performance. We've got California, Sweet Taboo. The song is Keys to the Kingdom. We have Sammy, Jen, and ICP Bree. Not sure where the ICP comes from, or LCP, or whatever it was.
No, it's ICP. It's ICP.
Yeah.
Look, that's her stage name. She likes ICP. She cold, and, you boo.
Yeah, but so they're all raised in Southern California. They talk about coming together from like a vocal class that they all took, and they wanted Sammy and Jen wanted a rapper in the group, and how they want to be like inspirations for your young women, which is always.
And there were who wanted to have the young Mijas looking up at us. And I was like, I love that. I love that.
Yes. This was absolutely spectacular
from beginning to end.
Yep.
They're okay. I'll jump in on this one.
Please do.
First of all, let's get the Snoop of it out the way. Snoop was very much like Kelly was with Texas, and I loved it because, like, look, you rep your state. That's who you are. That's where you're from, and I ain't mad at the host for being repping who they love. And so the Snoop of it all was very excited about California Sweet Taboo. He was very excited, so it was nice to see that. But then they hit that stage and those girls lit it on fire. Yeah. This was my favorite performance to see. Like, I was very much into it. Like, from the very beginning, they looked stunning. Yeah. They looked amazing. And that opening shot when they were in that room and they were just standing there.
I loved the staging and the cinematography. Good.
It was so good. And it was little nuances of stuff. Like, they were standing there and I want to say it was the first, what's the girl with the buns? What was her? Who was
Sammy, I believe?
Yeah. She just stood there and she said, And it was just like,
I was like, yes, queen.
Just a little was like, oh my gosh, these girls know what they're doing. They've been ready. They've been getting themselves ready for this moment, and they delivered. Like, the song was good. Like, Keys to the Kingdom. Like, I was like, what is this about? When I heard Keys to the Kingdom, what is this? Because it could go so many different ways. Yeah. But then they were like, you could be my king, king, king. I'll be your queen, queen, queen. I was like,
yes!
You can get the keys to my king. Baby, this song was everything. And everything about this performance. Remember how we were talking about with Alexa, how everything just felt right?
I thought the exact same thing. Mm-hmm.
This performance, everything just felt right. Like, from the beginning to the end. Like I said, from the first to the last pose, it was right. They looked good. The outfits were beautiful. They makeup was flawless. Their hair was on point. The song was great. The vocals were amazing. The rap was hot. It was just
so good.
It was just so good. The fact that we got this so early in the night, I was like, what? Okay, they doing this to us again because that's what they did with Alexa in week 1. They give us something hot and popping right off the top of the gate. Yeah. And we just have to vibrate in that like greatness of a performance for the rest of the night and like go knock them off. Like I was like, okay, spoiler alert, they were on top for most of the night. Yeah. And they were, and it well deserved. And I was like, who gonna knock them off? Because these girls did that. Who gonna knock them off? I mean, we'll talk about the end results, but who gonna knock them off? And they deserved it because they were so good. It was just a great performance. Like that was the performance that got me hyped for the day, in this round.
I mean, you said everything I was going to, honestly. Like, the top to bottom, left, right, diagonal. Like, this was perfection in every possible way that they could do. Like, I really, really hope they qualify. I gave them all of the points I could. I am really, really hopeful that Sweet Taboo will move on because I think there isn't a lot of Latin representation so far in the semifinals. Then again, there's not much representation beyond white men. So on multiple different accounts, seeing a group like this in the semifinals is not only deserved, but like they deserve to be there.
Yeah,
they deserve it based on that performance.
That was so good. So good.
But we have to move on. We can't talk about them all day, even though I would like to.
It's fine.
We move on to Idaho. We have Andrew Sheppard. The song is Steady Machine. He talked in his intro about how there's a lot of diverse geography in Idaho. He grew up in like punk music and skateboarding. And he says that Idaho gives you the opportunity to be yourself, which I thought was perfectly nice and lovely, which is exactly kind of how I felt about this song. He has a perfectly nice and lovely voice. This song did not do a single thing for me. At all. None whatsoever.
Yeah. I thought he was, like you said, perfectly lovely voice, perfectly lovely intro, perfectly lovely,
perfectly lovely person from what it seems like.
It's just the song was just okay. All right, steady machine. I mean, I get it. You need a steady machine to get through life. Your life needs to be whatever. I get it, but it was just like,
I think it was also he was in a disadvantageous position going right after Sweet Taboo.
Look, I always say, I've said it from the beginning, it's always the unlucky person to get to draw after somebody who is freaking amazing and kills it. We saw it with that when it happened to it with Alexa. We saw it what happened with Lamb. What was her name?
Kelsey Lamb.
Lamb right after, and she just felt so flat to me because Alexa was amazing, and then it was like, whoa, hey, and then it happens every week. Every week it happens, and he just was. You got the unlucky draw to go behind that, and I'm sorry for that. Oh God, sorry. But it's still a lovely. Like he didn't sound bad. It wasn't a bad performance. It just wasn't. It wasn't memorable.
I couldn't tell you a single lyric out of the song, and I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times.
It wasn't memorable. Remember we had the same conversation last week. How I felt about the song, the girl. I can't even remember. It wasn't memorable.
Alexis Cunningham. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just wasn't memorable, and so I think this is the one that's fallen into that it's not memorable category for me, and I don't remember any lyrics to any part of the song.
Yeah.
So
well. But good for you, Andrew. You got to represent your whole state.
Yep, you did. You did what you did. You came to do.
You did it. So good Good on you. Good on you. Moving on to the state right next door to us. It's New Mexico. Khalisol. The song is Drop. I figured there was going to be a hot air balloon reference because hot air balloons and aliens are kind of, and hatch green chilies are kind of what New Mexico is known for. But he is afraid of heights.
So he said, no, thank you.
He said, no, thank you.
He said, no, you're not in that thing. No, thank you.
So he got his stage name. HALIE is a reference to his African heritage, and Sol is the Spanish word for sun. He describes his style as soul hop, which I love. It's a debate we also have here in Arizona, red versus green chili on things. Lana, I don't know if you have a preference.
I don't like chilies.
Fair. So neither. Great. Cool. I personally am a green chili person. I put hatch green chilies on anything and everything I possibly can. And I have a very large jar of them in my fridge as we speak. So I like red chili, but green chili is my preference. And he's also a father of two.
Yes. 2 little cute, adorable boys.
Yes.
They were just adorable. I lit up when I saw those little faces. I was like, what? Okay.
What did you think of this song, Lana?
Okay. So this is the thing. I was ready to not like this song.
Me too.
I was ready to not like it because I was like, you know what? The hip hop artists so far in this competition have just not been it. And it's just not been
with
doing,
the exception of Bree
Steves. Right. And I call her R&B hip hop more than just hip hop. Like,
totally.
Like, well, I was like, I'm going to not like the song, aren't I? Oh my gosh, am I not going to like it? And then he got on that stage. First of all, let me just say, he's very cute. He's very cute. So I'm not going to let that moment pass because he's a cutie and a hottie, period. But he started singing and I was like, okay, beep, beep, who's got the keys to the Jeep? I hear you. Missy reference. I got it.
Yep.
And then he was going in and I kind of found myself groove it.
Yeah.
And bop it. And shake it. And he got to the point, he was like, and dropping it. I was like, okay, wait, hold on. Am I dropping it? I'm about to. I like the song.
Me too.
I like the song. I was like, do I like this song? Am I go? And so what I did, like, I liked his performance because I thought he was really charismatic. He shined on that stage. His face lit up. He interacted with the dancers perfectly. He got his hook where he was able to interact with the crowd and like, ladies with your hand up, fellas with your pants up. Like, as we see, I know parts of this song. I heard, I remember it. So he's definitely memorable. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but then I was like, okay, I do. And then I listened to the studio version and I liked it even more. I was like, I could put this on and when I'm cleaning up my house and like, hey, just jumping as I clean it up. I was very skeptical because like I said, a lot of the hip hop artists that I wanted to really like in this competition, I ended up not. This one, I liked. I liked Khalisol. I would not. Do I think he's gonna go? No, because I feel like everybody always they do what they do in this work, in these judges, and these. I just don't. But it's a possibility. It's not.
He's not in a bad position.
No, and
I
that's the thing. And I was like, okay, I see you, and I hope for the best. I would not be mad to see him go on either. I'm going to put that out there and say that.
Same.
I don't know if he is, but I wouldn't be mad to see him go because I really did like this song. I was very much impressed with him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he ended up in the heat with Sisqó, and we'll talk about Sisqó. And I feel like a lot of people may just vote for Sisqó because he's Sisqó.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, unfortunately, Khalisol might get overlooked in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, directly comparing the two, we'll talk about Sisqó later. This, for me, was the much more successful hip-hop song of the night. And, like, this is also not a genre that I typically listen to all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came in with a lot of the same skepticism that you did, Lana. And by the end of this performance, I was like, okay, I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the pocket. The flow was good. Charisma oozing out of his pores. Like, this man is he's born to be a performer. And I would be really happy if he qualified. I think I tend to agree with you, Lana. I don't know if he will, but I think I would like to see it because this was one of my favorite songs of the evening, honestly.
Yeah, same.
So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
But we'll talk about the jury rankings later. Again, and literally, Mari qualified out of last week. So honestly, where you fall in the jury kind of doesn't really matter at this point.
If people vote, yep. Yeah. And I think more and more people are finally getting into the show.
I agree.
So more and more people are finally voting.
Yeah. Yeah, because our votes were very, very synonymous with what happened like the first couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then as like weeks have gone by, I've noticed that like my votes and my feelings aren't really the same, which I honestly really like. Obviously, I'd love for some artists to qualify that didn't. But yeah, so let's move along. Next up, we've got Missouri. We have HALIE with the song Better Things. Now, what you may not know, Lana, HALIE is actually a replacement.
Oh.
So HALIE was not announced originally to be representing Missouri. And Missouri was originally represented by a man named Brett Sieper.
Mm-hmm.
With the song Can't Stay Away.
Okay.
From what it sounds like, he's a decently attractive white man, so like whatever. But it sounds like he is like in the same sort of lines as like Shawn Mendes and all that. Not exactly sure what happened, but we got HALIE instead. So she talks about how Missouri is a bunch of small towns and the musical influences are kind of split, with the North being more like soul and pop and the South being more so country. And she's kind of a mix of the two, which I do agree. I think I saw a little bit of both in her performance. And her big thing was she won Songland, and her song was chosen by Martina McBride, who is one of my favorite artists of all time. So I was like, get it, girl. I thought this was fine.
I remember I watched Songland. I love Songland. I really wish they'd bring that back because that was one of my favorite shows to watch, besides Sing Off. But I remember the song that she wrote for Martina McBride. I liked the song that she wrote. It was about dreams and all this kind of stuff, and talking to your older self or younger self. Sure. It was a beautiful song. It was a great song. I think they should have brought in the Shawn Mendes guy because this song didn't do it. This wasn't it. I did not enjoy this. I didn't enjoy her performance. I didn't enjoy this song. It's not memorable. I don't remember it. I don't remember anything about it, honestly.
Valid.
Nothing.
I actually do remember this song. This was one of actually my favorites coming out of just listening to the studio versions. But I can tell this song was rushed in the production department. Like it feels very like, it feels like they could have taken an extra couple of days and sort of fine-tuned a few things. Her live performance, I liked her look. I thought she looked cool. I thought the staging with like the rings was a really cool thing that we hadn't seen really.
Yeah. But then she just stood there in the stage ring. Like just stood in the ring.
And that and that was the issue for me. It was like the vocal wasn't 100%. She was very stiff. And again, I don't know how long she's known that she would be doing this.
Right.
So I'm gonna give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but
I don't.
Ultimately, I can't. That's fair.
Because the reason why is, and it's not to be harsh, to be cruel, but when you're a performer and this is what you want to do with your life and this is your job, you can't have excuses like, oh, I didn't know. It's people who get called to do the Grammys the weekend of the Grammys and they still have to go on and be on, because if they're not on, then they're being ridiculed and talked about like, what kind of performance was that? Nobody cares. This is the business. Nobody cares about how long you had to practice. Nobody cares about how long, you had to prepare yourself. The fact of the matter is, this is your job. When you're called to do it, you have to be on. And so as a singer, I can't be like, oh, I can't, please excuse me. I'm not going to be at 100% because they just called me. Yes. Like they can call you 2 hours and you need to, if you accept it, you need to be ready to go in 2 hours. So I can't give her a benefit pass because we don't know she was a replacement. You were a replacement. Fair. Do your job. And that she just didn't do it. She just did not do it. It didn't sound good to me. Her vocals were 50% at best. I'm not even gonna give her like 75, 80. Like it was very timid, shaky. She was flat. She was pitchy. It was like all over the place for me. I just did not enjoy. She looked great. She should have spent more time on her vocals than her look because she looked amazing, but she just did not sound good. And so it just took everything away from the song for me. Like it could be a great song. And maybe if I go back and listen to the studio version again, I might be able to listen to it and like, okay, it's a good song. But her performance just fell flat. It was just not.
Sure. I think for me, I really, really like the song itself. And I agree with you completely. The performance just wasn't there. But honestly, I liked this song. And there were a lot of songs this evening that I didn't like. Mm-hmm. So honestly, it kind of ranks above those for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for what she did, I mean, she seems like a lovely girl.
Lovely gowns. Beautiful gowns.
Lovely gowns, beautiful gowns. So moving along to someone that did not disappoint in the vocal department, it is American Samoa, Tenelle. The song is Full Circle. Now, the big thing, and I feel like I knew this and just forgot about it. Lana, there are no addresses in American Samoa. They just don't.
They don't.
Which I love. And she talks about, she's in traditional garb for the majority of her intro, which I loved. She talks about the single palm tree standing on the island that like has weathered like hurricanes and all that kind of stuff. She's just a lovely, lovely person. And this song is everything for me.
Can I just start off by saying, what up, Oos?
Yes.
What up, Oos? She is she was everything. Like the song was everything. She looked amazing. She sounded phenomenal. Yeah. I love this song. And it's one of those, could be considered a cheesy, inspirational songs, but the lyrics of this song was so beautiful. And I don't care how cheesy people might think it is or how, or inspirational or what. It was just a beautiful song. And she sang it beautifully. And she looked beautiful doing it. Like everything about this performance was just simply beautiful. From the staging, when that light, when they turned and the flowers came from under her and behind, it was just beautiful. Overall, this was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful performance. And she just, I loved everything about it. Everything about it. There was nothing wrong in this performance for me. There's just nothing wrong.
I mean, when you start your song with "Pray for the ones that we got and blessed by the ones that we've lost," I'm sorry. That is truly by far the most profound thing we've heard in this entire contest. And overall, the contest has its flaws, it has its very severe problems, but this is why I've kept watching. Yeah. For performances like what Tenelle did on that stage. Truly just spectacular. I loved the cube staging with the musicians, the traditional dancing in front of her. She looked incredible. She didn't miss a single note.
If this one does not go on to the next round, I will be very upset.
Me too.
It will be one of those like you just missed out on an amazing song for no reason at all. It was just beautiful. Oh, it was just beautiful.
I'm gonna venture to say, Lana, this is a winner.
I would love to agree with that. I would 100% love to agree with that, because you remember how we talked about how it doesn't matter sometimes with the song. It's just how the song makes you feel. Last week with from Arizona. Yeah. I don't know what they were saying. Don't care. It just made me feel good. This song made me feel so good. And I was just like, I listened to it after I watched the performance. I listened to it a couple of more times, just the studio version, and I felt even better. It just made me feel good, and I would be very upset and very annoyed if this song doesn't go on to the next round, because it deserves to. It just was so good. It was just so good.
I completely agree. I can't say enough good things about this. Just truly everything spectacular, beautiful, wonderful, phenomenal.
Flawless.
Yep.
American Samoa should be very proud of Tenelle, because she was flawless.
Yeah. I would love to see more than one territory represented in the semifinals. We got one.
We got one, but we need another.
I'm happy. We need
another.
We need to know.
See, this is the thing. And out of all the territories that we've had and we've seen, like Puerto Rico, he did what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do, and he deserved the spot that he got. Yeah. I loved Northern Mariana Islands. I loved him. I thought he was beautiful, and we love Fabio. But I didn't think he deserved the spot. I love the song. That was the thing. I still listen to Sunsets and Sea Turtles.
Me too.
I still listen to it because I like him. I think he was a beautiful soul, and that outweighed anything else for me. Mm-hmm. But and the same thing, we'll talk about Guam coming up later. Mm-hmm. But I feel the same way about Guam. But I feel like Tenelle is the territory that deserves the spot. Yeah. Because this song was incredible and deserves the spot. If they don't get the spot, I will be very upset, because this song was amazing. She sang it. What else does she need to do? What else does she need to do to get the spot? Because this performance is flawless.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yep. Well, we got to move on. I wish we could talk about Tenelle all day, but we cannot. We got to move on to North Carolina. We got John Morgan. The song is right in the middle. He talks about how big things come out of small towns, which I agree.
Okay.
Sure. He's on Mountain Time, which...
sounds like colored people time to me, but
a little bit,
sounds like black people time. I'm just saying, because I know that time. We don't care. It's like whenever we get there, we get there, and you just be ready.
Yep. He talks about how the hub of his community is High Country Tire, which his grandpa's owned for years, and I'm like, that That sounds about right from what
That
I know
sounds
of
about
North
right
Carolina,
for
honestly.
for a small town in North Carolina, and everybody hang out at the tire shop. I kind of like it.
Yeah. And his big claim to fame was that he wrote, I forget what the song is called, but it's the song that Jason Aldean and Carrie Underwood did last year.
Yeah, and it was a big song.
Yeah. I like it. I don't know what it's called.
I almost said it, but yeah. I remember seeing them perform. Like, I kind of watched the CMTs a little bit, and
If I Didn't Love You.
Yep. That's
the song. Yep.
And so I've seen them perform that song before. So I'm like, oh, okay, look at you writing that song.
I think he should stick to songwriting. Just not this one. This was not good for me. Okay, here's what I'll say. I think he's lovely from what I know. And I think I actually really, really liked his voice. I thought he had a really uniquely country voice in a way that you don't always hear in country music. And I thought that was really, really good. This song could not have been more generic. This is if you put like every white male country pop hit in the last 20 years and put it in a randomizer and asked an AI to write a country song, this is what it would be.
Yeah. This song was called Right in the Middle, and I felt like he was right in the middle. Like, there was nothing spectacular about the song, but it was nothing horrible about the song. It was just very one note, very much in the middle, very much simple. I wrote a country song. Here it is. It was just one note.
I've also been trying to equate it to a country song in my mind. I was like, a lot of these lyrics feel like I've heard them before, and I just like, it's all the tropes of country music. The song I'm comparing it to, Lana, is Fire It Up by Jonah Prill. Because the chorus is basically the same in a different tempo.
Jonah did it better.
I completely agree.
But yeah, I don't know. It just was very one note. Like I said, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't spectacular. It was just in the middle. It was literally right in the middle.
How this placed higher in the jury rankings than Tenelle baffles me.
It doesn't baffle me because this jury has been very
country.
Yep. So it is what it is.
I'm going to be really honest. We're setting up for a white man singing a genre of country music to win this whole thing. And like at this point, I'm kind of just accepting it. Like if something else happens, I'm going to be really, really happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where we're headed with how many white men in country music have qualified for the semifinals. So
moving on
to Vermont, Josh Panda. The song is Rollercoaster. Now he talks about how he's a dad by day and he's Josh Panda by night. He wears all this extravagant stuff. He sings soul music. He lives in the largest city in Vermont. I'm torn on this song. I'm going to be really honest. I really like this song in the studio version. I thought it was like a really, really solid, sometimes you went, da, 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 like whatever. The performance, it felt like he was just doing a little too much for me. And I like a good amount of extra. I don't love this.
I don't like this at all.
Oh, okay.
I I didn't like his performance. Like you said, I think it was much too much. It was just much too much. Is it memorable? Sure. I'm gonna remember the scream. I'm gonna remember the hair. I'm gonna remember the look. I'm gonna remember I didn't like the performance. I don't know if I even liked his voice that much. It was something about the voice that kind of aggravated me a little bit. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know. He's one of those anomalies to me. I don't know what it is I don't like. I just know I don't like it.
That's fair.
And I don't know.
I like this song at a baseline, which is kind of like where my break is, honestly. In this heat specifically. But like, yeah, I threw the studio version actually on my like Eurovision and American Song Contest playlist because I like the studio version a lot. But I agree, the performance just it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say about him.
Party. Well, then let's move on. We've got Guam up next. Jason J. The song is Midnight. Guam is 18 hours ahead of California time. Literally on the other side of the world.
Yep, right to China. How they're U.S. territory? Do not know. But they're right by China. Go ahead.
Yep.
Work.
And he describes his style as island reggae meets alternative. He lives in California now, so we talked about that as well. Yeah. What'd you think, Lana?
This was one of the songs, like I was talking about earlier. I don't think it's going to qualify. It's not a bad song. It's just not a great song. I like his voice. I do like his voice. I think it's different. And I think it's, I just don't think this was the right song. Like, I really feel like he could have came with a different song. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't a great song. It wasn't a horrible song. It still beats New Boot Goofing for me. Yes. So, it won't be 56 on my, it probably won't even be 55. It's not a horrible song. It's just not the greatest song. And I find him very enduring. His son is amazing. I think his son's going to be a great singer one day. Yes. But if he pursues it, if he wants to. Yeah. But I felt like the song was just meh. It was okay. It was all right. It wasn't. But I think him as a human being and listening to his story and seeing, watching him talk about how he likes to build up more people who come from Guam to, to America and want to be in the music business, how they just form a family and help each other out and support each other. I love that about that. And I feel like as a human being, he's an amazing human. He looks like a great dad and an amazing being. But this song, it just wasn't for this competition. I really would love to have come with something a little more punchy, a little bit more. It just needed more oomph. It was very monotone, very, too in the pocket, very much too chill, maybe below the pocket a little bit. It's just, I needed more oomph from him. But it was this okay song.
I really like him. Mm-hmm. Like you said, I think he's fantastic. I love that he's doing all of this to empower people from Guam. With that said, I didn't like this song at all, really. Nothing about it really, like, I felt very similarly to this that I felt about Idaho, honestly. Like, nothing about this caught me. Other than, I will say, in the live performance, he's got a very distinct tone. Mm-hmm. And I think I like it. Mm-hmm. I think I like it. There were moments where he kind of went off the rails a little bit, and I didn't dislike that. But overall, like, the song is just, it's not something I'm going to listen to, unfortunately. So, yeah, I didn't love it, but I like him. I think he's lovely.
Yeah, So that's still the same. I feel like he's lovely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we've got 2 more songs to get through. The first of which is going to be Michigan. LeAnn with the song Natalie. Now, she's from Battle Creek, Michigan. And there's so many Kellogg's plants in and around the area that you can smell Frosted Flakes from downtown, which I would love.
I would be fine with that.
More than fine with that. She talks about the soul and Motown influence that is very, very prevalent in Michigan, and I appreciated getting that acknowledgement because a lot of the greats of soul and Motown came out of Michigan, specifically Detroit, but I'm really happy that we got that recognition of it. But she's a little bit more personally influenced by people like Olivia Rodrigo, Billie Eilish. I'm really genuinely surprised she didn't say Taylor Swift, because I'm going to be real honest, she sounds just like Taylor Swift. What do you think, Lana?
Me? You want to know what I think of this song?
I do, because I think we have starkly different opinions for once in this podcast.
It was beautiful gowns.
Really?
Okay, so this is my thing. I like people coming into this competition giving me something I've never heard before.
Sure.
She gave me Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Everything about that song was Taylor Swift. Even the jury guy said she gave Taylor Swift. Like, everything about this song was Taylor Swift. Like, you could put that on Taylor Swift's Red album and it fits right in with the rest of the thing. Her first album, put that song in any place on her first album and it sounds just like Taylor Swift. And I was like, I get you're influenced by people, but like, you didn't even say you were influenced by Taylor Swift, influenced by Billie Eilish, and you were influenced by Olivia Rodrigo, and we heard none of that. We heard Taylor Swift. It was literally 120% Taylor Swift. And sure, it was a cute song. It was cute, but it was just cute. Like, it's been done. It's been heard. You can put that on the radio and it'll sound like any other Taylor Swift song that's been played. So I wasn't impressed by this song. I wasn't impressed by her. I did not agree with the jury selection of this whole thing and her placement in the jury selection. I just felt like she was subpar, and she sounded like her tone is nice. Like, I'm not going to take away from her vocals. She has a good vocal voice. But like, this song was very subpar. It was very like, we've heard it a million times. And I don't want to come into a new song competition where we're getting original music and I hear the song you singing a million times before on the radio. Give me something that says you, because all I'm hearing from this is Taylor. I'm not hearing Ada, LeAnn, whatever. I'm hearing Taylor Swift. And so who is Ada? I don't know who she is. I know Taylor because that's what you gave us. So I just felt like this song just, her performance was, she just didn't do anything. She just stood there and she just sang a subpar song and just gave us Taylor Swift. Even Taylor Swift moved around on stage and give us something. Like, you just stood there and just gave us that. And I was just like, how is this? You're going to say this song and this performance is what we prefer over people who like Sweet Taboo, who gave everything. Even Khalisol, like, who performed. Even Sisqó, who performed. And this is where you put your jury votes and say, we like this more. And it just doesn't make sense to me for that to be something we celebrate when it's something we've already seen. How are we going to say this song is best when we heard Taylor Swift got 7-8 albums out? We've heard this before. So I thought the song was just And it's just, she just gave us like, this is the quintessential vibe of pretty white girl giving subpar and getting praise for being mediocre. This was a mediocre performance. This is a mediocre song and a mediocre performance, but she get high praise for it because she's just a pretty little 16-year-old white girl. And I'm just like blown away by that. I did not enjoy that. Like, is she ranked the lowest in my rankings? No, because I felt like it wasn't a horrible song. It was just a subpar song. Is she top of my rankings? No. She's just, because I did not feel like she gave us anything, but she got praised for giving nothing. And people like Amari, or people like a Sweet Taboo, people like a Bree Stevens, people like who did Greenlight before?
Anissa.
Like, they have to give 120%. Mississippi, they have to give 2,000% to even, and still don't even make it. And she can just stand there and sing an old Taylor Swift, reject Taylor Swift song, and she gets high praise. That's so frustrating to me. And it's nothing bad about LeAnn. I just feel like this song wasn't enough to get the praise that she got. And I just don't understand it. And my frustration is with the jury. My frustration is with America, who takes these little girls and tell them they're great for doing subpar, and then you tell the other women and the other girls who go out of their way and do 1,000% more, and then say it's not good enough. Like, I just don't get it. Mari was ranked 8th last week, and she gave her performance was like, she did stuff, she worked, and it was America who had to push her up in the rankings to even get into the show. And because the jury had no love for her, they ranked her 8 out of 11, and America was like, no. So I'm like, how do we just? I'm just frustrated, and I'm going to stop because it's annoying that this song is what we say is the best song. And it's like, how, where, in what world is this the best song?
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot. I agree with most of what you said. It's very difficult when you see, and I'm going to go ahead and just say it, artists of color who are doing a lot more than she did on stage and not getting as much recognition in this contest. Look at the semifinalists, and you'll see that very, very clearly. With that said, I don't love this song by any means of the imagination, but I did think her performance was really good. I think her vocal was very good. Her tone is very nice and lovely in Taylor Swift. The lyrics were lovely and nice in Taylor Swift. And this is a style of music that I like, typically. So I think I have a bit more of an appreciation for it. This should not have won the jury vote by any means of the imagination. But I think given the performance that she gave, I didn't think it was horrible.
It was just subpar. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It was just stuck in the middle.
And in this heat specifically, very middle.
Very middle.
Yeah. So we move on to the last song of the evening, the last song of the contest to be revealed. Of course, it's Sisqó.
Of course.
With the song It's Up. I mean, what is there to say? It's Sisqó.
Freaking Sisqó.
AKA the Dragon, AKA Sisqó. Song, all that jazz. That was all really his intro package was. What'd you think, Lana?
It was Sisqó. Sisqó gave what Sisqó gives. Sounds like fireworks. There's fireworks going out in New Orleans, period. Ooh, we love that. It's Sisqó gave what Sisqó gives. Like, I didn't expect any less. I enjoyed the performance of the song. Did I enjoy the song as much? I don't know. I kind of was like, it's a little repetitive and a little, but I love the breakdowns in this song. Let me put it like that. I like the breakdowns in the song. Like, he really didn't say much. It wasn't like a very deep, song where I can, a lot of meat was in the song, but it was the breakdowns for me that made me enjoy this song more than I enjoyed some other songs. Like, the performance, like, there's nobody who will outperform Sisqó in this heat. Like, none of them are going to outperform Sisqó, but they, but he did what Sisqó does. Like, it was a great, like, I enjoyed the dancing, I enjoyed the stage, I enjoyed the staging of it all, the pyro of it all, the smoke and mirrors of it all. He gave us Sisqó performance. The song itself, not so great, it was no meat to the song. It was very much, it was very dependent on the beats of the song for me. Like, I don't remember the lyrics, I just remember the beat. And that's not the greatest thing you want to have in a song, but the beat itself was nice enough for me to go, okay, I'm dancing. And it is up. And then it was like, okay, the song, he's singing, I don't know what he's saying, I don't care, whatever. Yeah. But the beat, it's just, so I don't think it was a full-on, all-around performance. It wasn't the greatest performance it wasn't the greatest song of the night, but it was a really good performance for the night.
Yeah, this also fell very mid for me. I like Sisqó. He, like you said, he did what Sisqó does. Mm-hmm. The song didn't captivate me in any particular way. The performance brought it up a few notches for me, but it's Sisqó. So, like, I feel very much so, honestly, the way about Sisqó is how I felt about Macy Gray. Yeah. Honestly, it's Macy Gray. It's Sisqó. Like, this is what we know them to do. Was it groundbreaking? No. But it was good.
It was good. It was like, it gave what I wanted it to give from a Sisqó performance. I wish it would have gave what I wanted it to give from a Sisqó song. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted more from the song that I got, but he performed it. The little bit of the song, he performed it well. He had some moments where I was like, hey, that was nice. So, do I think it deserves to go to the next round? Probably not. No. Will it go? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? This was crazy. The jury surely did not care for it either, and he looked very pissed about that. But I don't know. I just feel like Sisqó, it wasn't the greatest song. Like, people want him to recreate Thong Song. That's never going to happen. He's never going to recreate the success that Thong Song gave him. Yeah. So we need to just take that out of our minds and just take him for who he is as an artist now. And this is where his hair was. This is where he was as an artist. It's up. But it wasn't the greatest song to me. It just was mid. It was, like I said, it was mid. It was mid. But the performance brought it up a little bit because it was just a good performance. He gave us Sisqó gives. He's freaking Sisqó. Like we said, freaking Michael Bolton, freaking Macy Gray, freaking Jewel.
Yeah, like
Sisqó. These people have won Grammys for reasons. They did their thing. They won all these awards for reasons. They're freaking talented. Is every song going to be a hit? No. But they still earned their spot to say they are freaking who they are.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me because, like, there were, like, the four big names going into this contest that, like, were household names. Like, Sisqó, Macy Gray, Jewel, and Michael Bolton were, like, the household names. There were a lot of other people that, as we've seen, have a lot of accolades and a lot of Grammy nominations and all that kind of stuff, and I love that. I love that, and I think we can both agree on this, the week that didn't have any of the household names being week 4 was the strongest week of the 5.
I agree. And what's also crazy, only one of those household names so far have made it to the next round. Like,
I still stand behind, and I think you'll agree with me. I still stand behind the fact Jewel should have qualified.
I agree.
I hope there's a shot in hell that she gets the wild card. I don't think she will.
I don't think so either, but I enjoyed that song.
Me too.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I hope she can still record it after this and still put it on an album. I would listen to it. I enjoy the song. So yeah. I think honestly, out of all the four, I think I enjoyed Jewel's song the most. But I enjoyed Michael Bolton's song. Of those four. I enjoyed Jewel's the most, but I like Michael Bolton's really, really well. Like, they're like, here's Jewel, here's Michael Bolton, like really right underneath it. So out of those four, I think that was just, I felt that Jewel's was best. But yeah,
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that those four are the names, and we only so far have one. And I don't think Sisqó's going to go either. So I think we're going to have one from the household names to qualify to the next round. And then, and even in that, it's still not the best song out of all the songs.
And even then, looking at where he's drawn in the semifinals, I don't know if we're going to see Michael Bolton in the final. Let's just say that. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I do want to touch on the jury rankings. As we've kind of already talked about, Ada and LeAnn won the jury vote, which neither one of us agree with. With California, Sweet Taboo coming in second, which, thank you, Jesus. We had John Morgan from North Carolina coming in third, which I think was incredibly too high. Tenelle coming in fourth, thankfully in the top four. I was happy to see that. And Justin Jesso rounding out the jury's top five, with then Andrew Sheppard from Idaho, which again was an interesting choice, in sixth. Khalisol coming in seventh. Josh Panda coming in eighth. Sisqó coming in ninth and being very upset about it. HALIE from Missouri coming in 10th, and Jason J in last place in the jury rankings. So a lot of them I would have moved around, but for the most part, honestly, I think I agree with a lot of it.
I would have switched a whole lot of them around.
Well, let's talk about it then, Lana, because we got rankings to give out. Would you like to start, love?
Sure. Cool. I'm looking. I said I wasn't going to change my rankings. I think I might.
I definitely changed mine around during it, so
yeah, I think my 10 changed. My 10 and 11 changed.
Okay.
So my 11 is now Better Things.
Okay.
It wasn't memorable. I don't remember anything about it.
Fair. Completely fair. My 11th for the exact same reason, just a different song, is going to be Idaho.
Yeah, you can keep Idaho up right there because that is my 10, because even though I do remember a little, I mean, at least I know what the message is about: steady machine in life and steady machine, blah, blah. But like I said, other fairly, all right.
Yeah. Well, my 10th is going to be North Carolina. Just did not care for this at all.
Gotcha. My 9, Red?
Yep.
Is going to be Vermont. I just didn't care for it. I think he's a little extra, but I remember it more than I remember the other two.
Sure.
So.
Sure. My 9th is going to go to Guam.
Yeah, keep it up because that's my 8.
Yeah. Yeah. And my 8 is Vermont. Oh. And then at this point for me, these are the songs that I at least liked.
My 7. We're at 7, right?
We are at 7, yes.
Yeah, right. Stuck in the middle is where he should be because he was just definitely in the middle. It was just wasn't very bad. It was just
Sure. My seventh, a song that I liked significantly more than you did, based solely on the studio version. It's going to be HALIE. I just liked the song. The performance was not good, but I didn't particularly care for any of the songs below this, so she got the lowest of the rankings of the songs I actually liked.
Okay. My number 6 is Natalie. It's subpar. It was just whatever. I've heard it 20 times. I don't know.
Fair. I'm surprised it's that high. In all honesty, I expected it to be lower for you.
She wasn't bad. Her vocals were fine. A performance was fine. Everything was just fine. She wasn't horrible. She wasn't great. She was just fine. And the song itself was just fine. I just heard it sometimes. And like I said, if I can remember it, I at least remember it. I don't remember the other songs below this that much.
Sure.
It's just, she was just fine.
Sure. Fair. Well, smack dab in the middle of my rankings, it's Sisqó.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sisqó.
You keep Sisqó there for me because that was my next one. It's Sisqó. Like, the performance brought it up for me. The song itself was kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he deserved 8 in the jury rankings, but
he got 9th.
Ninth. Yeah, I don't think he deserved 9th in the jury rankings. I don't agree with that at all. But I don't think he needs to be much higher than what he is here with us.
I agree. Well, today is the day of us, swapping, having things off by 1, because my 5
mm-hmm.
my 5 is Natalie. So we have the same top 4. That's lovely.
That's lovely.
I don't think that's happened.
I mean, maybe week 1.
Maybe. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But who is your 4th?
My 4th is Drop. I like Khalisol. I like the song. I enjoyed his performance. I thought he was just good. If he makes it, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah. My 4th is going to be Justin Jesso and Lifeline.
You can keep it up because he's my number 3.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's my number 3 because I just felt like I liked him. I liked the song. And I felt like he did what he needed to do in his performance. I just liked him.
I agree. Well, we're going to keep up tradition, at least for this ranking, Lana, because my number 3 is Khalisol.
Yeah, our top 2 is definitely the same. And I think they're in the same order, maybe.
I'm really curious. I actually don't know.
Okay. Because these top 2 are just stunners and awesomeness and amazingness. And this was the hardest to decide which one goes, because they're so great. It's so freaking great. But my number 2 is Full Circle. I love her. I just feel like Sweet Taboo just did it flawlessly too. Just a little bit more. Not in the same order.
Tradition is alive. My number 2 is California. So you have California number 1. Mm-hmm. I have American Samoa at number 1. For me, it was very, very difficult between these 2 acts specifically. But for me, I felt that, oh God, what is that term you always use for like feeling the song? Anointed. Thank you. I felt anointed listening to Tenelle sing this song. And that is just what squeaked it just a hair.
Half a second.
Half a hair. Half a hair.
Here's Tenelle, and here is
literally
right there. Yeah. That's how it is for me, and that's how it was. Like, I just felt Sweet Taboo. Their song was just everything about this performance was amazing from beginning. Like, they understood the assignment, and from from top to bottom, they checked all the boxes for me. And Tenelle did the exact same thing. And the feeling on Tenelle's song was very much like I felt it, but I also loved Sweet Taboo's performance. Like, I think their performance just eked it out just a little, like squeaked it out for me over Tenelle. But both of them deserve to be in the next round. Like, both of these, like, okay, the women killed it. This round, it was the ladies doing what they had to do. And even though I did not think LeAnn should have been the top jury spot pick, I still think she should have at least been in the conversation. And so the fact that she, I don't think she should have had that top spot. I think that should have went to either Tenelle or to Sweet Taboo.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's there, great. She's there. Nothing we can do about it. She's there. And I think she'll do well. She just has to step it up a little bit. But Full Circle and Keys to the Kingdom were just the best two songs for me tonight, at this performance. Agreed. And they just killed it. And I hope they make it. I hope they both make it.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. But yeah, Michigan is through and competing in semifinal 1. Let's talk about it. They revealed the semifinal lineups for semifinal 1 and semifinal 2. We've got to fill in the blanks, but we know all 11 artists that will be competing next week in semifinal 1. And they are as follows: Alabama with Nico and the song The Difference. Colorado with Riker Lynch, Feel the Love. Kentucky with Jordan Smith and Sparrow. Massachusetts, Jared Lee with Shameless. Michigan's LeAnn with Natalie. Montana's Jonah Prill with Fire It Up. New Hampshire's Mari with Fly. Oklahoma's Alexa with Wonderland. Rhode Island's Houston with Held On Too Long. Washington's Alan Stone with A Bit of Both. And the abomination that is New Boot Goofin'.
This is a stacked semifinal. And I have some songs that I have been listening to on repeat. Same. That is right. We are going to lose some really great songs.
We're going to lose 5 good songs.
Yeah.
At least out of this. And I'm upset about it.
I am very upset about it because it's like, okay, I'm just going to go down from y'all already know Alabama. I just adore them. I would be sad. But you have Kentucky.
Yeah.
And you have Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You have Oklahoma. And you have Washington. Those right there are some heavy hitting songs.
So there are 4 of the 5 jury qualifiers.
Right.
In this semifinal.
Right.
Which I thought was the other really interesting thing.
Right. And Massachusetts was just one hair off of being a qualifier. So it's not this is going to be, and see, I want to know, you can tell me, because I don't know, Eurovision and what they do for Eurovision. We're going to see them perform the same song, right?
Yes. Yep.
So now we have to step it up a little bit so it's not the same exact performance, right?
It depends on the artist. So with Eurovision, a lot of them won't make major changes, and it'll be just the exact same thing. The thing with Eurovision is a lot of people only watch the final, and so will have not seen prior performances. I'm really interested to see if there are actually any staging changes that happen with any of these acts in between the heats and the semifinals. That's what I'm the most interested in. But typically when it comes to Eurovision performances between even national selection to semifinal to final, there are sometimes minor changes, more so changes between the announcement or national selection of the song and the semifinal performance. not really a whole lot of changes happen between the semifinal and the final because they only get one day to rehearse in between. It's that Friday in between the second semifinal and the final. Mm-hmm. So it would be very difficult for a lot of major changes to be made. So typically they're not. But I'm interested to see, especially these songs that we haven't seen since week 1, Rhode Island, Oklahoma, Montana. I'm really interested to see how and if anything is really changed when it comes to these performances. But like, I think there are 3 songs in this semifinal for me that in my opinion, kind of already have a locked spot for the final. Just based on public perception, based on how they did the first time around. And that would be Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Rhode Island. Jordan Smith, Alexa, and Houston, I think, have no problem going to the final. Those other 2 spots, I could genuinely see going to anybody else.
I feel like Jordan and Alexa more so than Houston. Okay. I think Houston has a very tough road ahead of him, especially maybe not in this semifinals, maybe if he makes it past this round in the next round, because it's going to be a lot of country artists because they let so many country artists go on. And so it's going to be a lot of, vying for that spot and vying for a lot of comparisons or whatever. But Houston also is just a really good voice.
It's spectacular.
It's a great voice. And he is just really, really good. So I'm not really, but like you're going against like a Kentucky with Jared and
Jordan.
Not Jordan. Jared is Massachusetts. Duh. Yeah. But you're going against a Kentucky with Jordan, Oklahoma with Alexa, even with Jared in Massachusetts. Like these, Washington, Allen's voice is amazing, and so I feel like as much as I love Alabama, they're going to have a hard time in this heat with some of the people. But I think they could do it because I think those in trouble, for me personally, Riker might be in trouble. Great song, he just got in there. Michigan, I don't know if she's going to hold up next to a Kentucky and a Massachusetts and a Oklahoma, even a Rhode Island. Like, I don't know if she's going to hold up. New Hampshire, Mari, love her. Love her. Yeah. Don't know if she's going to hold up.
If I will say, if that live vocal from Mari is significantly better than we saw in week 4, I think she's got a shot. The interesting thing with you talking about who you think are in trouble, I actually tend to think that people like Nico, like Riker Lynch, like Mari, I think they actually have a real advantage in this semifinal specifically because there are 5 or 6 songs that sound the same. Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Rhode Island, and Washington.
Washington don't sound like none of them.
I'm putting them in the like slower, soul-inspired genre. I would say those 5 are more alike than anything else, really. And I would maybe even go as far as to lump Alabama into that. But so I think Alabama could be in trouble, but I think they both have a solid enough vocal to succeed. I think Riker Lynch is going to stay. I would not be surprised if Riker Lynch qualifies out of this semifinal because he is so completely different from everybody else in this. And even like, I think Alexa, I think Riker Lynch and I think Alexa, and I would honestly go as far to say Mari as well for New Hampshire. I think they're in very advantageous positions.
But then in that logic, when saying that makes me nervous because I think New Boofin will squeak by as well in this same situation because of the uniqueness, and it's not in that slow soul kind of thing. And obviously people are liking this song because they're voting. I mean, they're listening to it constantly. And so I'm like, that makes me nervous.
I think with Ryan, what is his name? Ryan Charles? Yeah. With Ryan Charles being not the only country specific artist in this and having Jonah Prill in here as well, I think it's gonna be a fight between the country artists, and I think that's gonna allow some of the other artists that aren't in this like slow, soul-inspired genre that we have a lot of here, and this country genre that's got a decent foothold. I think, and I hope that Wyoming kind of blends in. And honestly, I haven't said this at all yet in the American Song Contest. I really hope that the jury pulls through, because the jury ranked this 10th out of 11 in their heat. And if they rank him 11th, there's no shot.
Right.
There's no shot. The semifinal, I'm actually a little bit more curious about, Lana, and I want to get your thoughts as well on this one, is semifinal 2.
Okay.
So we have 7 of the songs already locked in. That being Connecticut with Michael Bolton and Beautiful World, Georgia with Stella Cole and DIY, Kansas with Broderick Jones and Tell Me, North Dakota with Chloe Fredericks, Can't Make You Love Me, Puerto Rico with Christian Pagan and Loco, Tennessee with Tyler Braden and 17, and Texas, Grant Kanoki and Mr. Independent, with then the other 4 spots being filled by the second wild card, which, based on where we're at currently, with at least Spotify streams, that second wild card spot, I believe right now, is going to be going to Yam House, which I'm not particularly thrilled about personally. So it'll be the second wild card recipient, and then the other 3 qualifiers from this week that we just had, which, if we have our way, will be California, American Samoa, and then either Illinois or New Mexico, depending on which one of us you're talking to.
Right.
So I think here, this is where it gets a little interesting for me, because as of this point, things are a little bit more spread out. And so I think someone like Chloe Fredericks really stands out here, being in a very, very different genre from at least the songs that we have now and most of the songs that we've seen in the contest. So I think Chloe's in a really advantageous position. I think Stella's in a pretty decent position too. I think if she had been put against Alexa, I think she loses out. But I think because she's in a separate semi, I think she's got a little bit of wiggle room. I think Grant Kanoki is going to stand out a lot for Texas. I think if Sweet Taboo is in this semifinal, I think they're going to stand out. I think if Tenelle is in this semifinal, she's going to stand out. Hoping for the best, but I think if Khalisol is in this semifinal, I think he stands out. And that other wild card spot could literally be any of like 5 or 6 different artists at this point, if it's based solely off of streaming, which it seems like it is. So I also think, in a weird, different way, I think Michael Bolton stands out. He's really the only like slow, true ballad song, other than really Tennessee, which is so beyond country that like, Yeah,
I agree. I agree with all of that. I think this semifinal is a lot more like spread out for me. I feel like it could go either kind of way. Like I feel like I don't know. I want to say like I know how the first semifinal was gonna go and what I really don't know. But I feel like how my thoughts about that. But this one is kind of like, I think it's more diverse in the people, in the songs. Like you said, Michael Bolton and his very slow ballad, inspirational ballad. You got Georgia with DIY pop, Kansas with Bryce. It's
Broderick.
He
gets lost. He's gonna get lost here.
I think he's gonna get lost. Like I agree. Then you got North Dakota with what was North Dakota?
Chloe Fredericks.
Yeah, Chloe Fredericks. I liked her, and I think she has a really great style and sound and everything. And you got Puerto Rico with Loco, which I love, and it's going to be that going against like a like DIY. Like I feel like Puerto Rico, local is going to go head to head with DIY, and with Texas with Mr. Independent. Like those performances are going to be like good performances, and then you got Tennessee, who's going to mix in with the Chloe Fredericks and the Michael Boltons of it all, and it's like I think everybody's going to have an opportunity here, and whoever comes in from this heat and the wild card, which like you said, it looks like it might be Yam House, which whatever. I think Yam House is going to have in this heat, they stand a chance, which is interesting because there's no other bands, there's no bands. I
think if they can get their live vocal squared away,
and I think that's a lot of people. I think a lot of people need to come back. If those who are going to come back, who were like maybe 6 in the jury rankings and squeaked in, they need to get their vocals on point. Mari can't come back in with the same vocals. She has to come back with solid vocals.
Mari, I think Broderick. As much as I love Chloe, I think Chloe was a little sharp in her performance. I would say Yam House. If Yam House does get that second wild card spot, I think they also need to get their because the song is good. The problem I had with it in week 1 was the performance.
Right.
But
and then if we have our way, and we get Sweet Taboo coming in, and we get Tenelle coming in, and we get whoever, I don't know,
Khalisol or Justin Jesso.
Or they're going to come in freshly off of their performance, and they'll have a week to get some work. Sweet Taboo don't need to do nothing because they were flawless. Tenelle don't need to do nothing because she was flawless. Justin Jesso, he's gonna have to work a little bit to make sure he, like you said, projects a little bit more, perform a little bit more, come out some, because he seemed a little timid in his performance, but he got the chops. We've seen your artist, your entertainer do that, and same thing with Khalisol, charismatic out the wazoo. You got charisma oozing out of you, but you need to. And one thing I did like about Khalisol before we move on, I understood what he was saying. And I like that in a rapper. I love knowing what your words are. I know I won't be able to sing along. I want to be able to rap along and pretend that I'm a rapper. So he enunciates, and so I love that in rap. I hate this mumble rap that they got going out. Well, I don't know what they're talking about, but he just needs to tighten up on how he's performing this song and how he's going. If he even gets in there, he's. I think he's on the bubble. I think he's on the bubble of maybe getting in, maybe getting out. I don't know.
I think we're more likely to honestly see Justin Jesso. I think we're more likely to see Sisqó, honestly. Unfortunately, I think based on jury ranking alone, I think we're more likely to see Josh Morgan.
Probably.
Than Khalisol, unfortunately.
I do. I agree with that.
I think if North Carolina's in here, they struggle and they don't qualify because Tennessee is just the stronger country ballad. I think if Sisqó qualifies, that's a wrench in everybody's plan.
Yeah.
I think if Illinois qualifies, I think Justin Jesso is in a very unique position because no one else really sounds like his sound. I think the closest person at this point would be Broderick, but in a very different way. This is the semifinal I'm honestly a little bit more excited to see. I'm excited for both, obviously, but we'll see what happens. I've been kind of discouraged the past couple weeks, I'll be honest, because, a lot of white men qualifying, but a lot of them. But I'm still very excited to see where we end up in the last 3 weeks of the American Song Contest.
Me too.
So
I'm still very excited about it. I think it's I'm still very excited about it.
There's things that need to change if they're going to do it next year, but
most definitely.
So, well, that's what we think about the final qualifying week of the American Song Contest. We'll be back next week to talk all about semifinal 1. I'm very excited. And with that, make sure, as always, you are subscribed, liking, and sharing on your way out. And follow Lana and I on Twitter if you want to, because we're kind of cool. Follow us at the Cup_reality on Twitter for all the most up-to-date Cup news. I changed our name a little bit, so now there's a teacup in our name on Twitter. It's real cute. I was like, that makes a little bit of sense. But anyway, cheers, my love.
Cheers, cheers.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Farewell.
Now.
Goodbye-bye.
So long, farewell. All of that.
Stand sweet taboo for clear skin.
Yeah.
Goodbye.